So it's going to be time to replace that camera very soon, and I have just the model that's going to be doing this. That is the G6 Pro Turret. One thing I will say right off the bat is I'm not going to be changing it in this video. I have a comparison video that I want to do first before I go ahead and change that. That's going to be another video that's going to be coming later where I go around and change all the cameras that I have within my property. So let's take a look. This is very similar in spec to the Bullet model. It has a 4K 8 megapixel camera, which is a 1/1.2 inch sensor. It has a 2.36 times optical zoom, and that is what it looks like. So we've taken that out the box. It's very similar to the way the AI turret is mounted. So if you have an AI turret, again, comparison video coming soon if you want to upgrade this or not, but this is what the turret looks like. We have the lens and the light on the front, which will take off once we get it mounted. And then we have at the bottom right here, a micro SD card slot that you can pop in. So this allows you to do your edge recording. So should you lose any network connectivity and it has power, it can still record what's going on before it goes back to your NVR. Again, this is very similar to the AI turret where you have the safety clip at the back for the pigtail. So that is just there, you can see that. And then we have a hardware kit. So inside here, I'm expecting to see your rubber grommets to seal your cables and the actual plastic piece to seal the rubber in your pack. So let's get it mounted. And just for clarification at the start, I'll cover this in my comparison video. The lines between the AI bracket and the G6 Pro bracket fully align up. So you can do a straight replacement if this is what you want to swap. So to get this mounted, we're going to pop the pigtail through this device and make sure it's fully latched on. So make sure that is secure. So if you're holding this and you're installing it, that is as you want it to be. And then we're going to install it this way. So we've got two little clips at the top and at the bottom. So we're going to place it like this, and then we're going to screw into the 4 holes. And I'm going to just mount it just up here as a temporary test. And there we go, that's not going anywhere. We can pop this in now and make sure it is in. Can clip that in right there, and one side we'll just get this adjusted. We'll get this adjusted to where it needs to be. There we go, so that's in the right sort of angle. We'll get it fully adjusted once we get it adopted into Unify Protect. So that's now in there. There's a screw on the side which I'm going to tighten up, and just to show you where that is right there, so we can tighten that once we know we have the right position. We'll just keep it a bit loose for now while we're getting it set up. Getting the rubber grommet installed, we're going to put that bit on. We're going to open up the right size cabling. We're going to put that in, and then we pop the Ethernet cable through in here. Now before you tighten all of this up, the bit I recommend you do is actually plug this in. Get that plugged in, pop this side on to make sure we're in. Take the rubber grommet. Okay, you just heard that power on, so that's always a good sign. So take the rubber grommet, put that in, and then tighten this part up. That way, you know you've got the right length cable inside there. Now, one thing I will say, the cable I'm using is not an outdoor rated cable. So this is just for testing purposes. So do make sure you are using an outdoor cable with this. We can see the white lights coming up on the side, and then we can peel this off, and then we can go a bit closer for the peel. And there we go, we can peel that off right there. There you go, so that's what it looks like. We actually have that upside down, so we're gonna turn it the right way around. There is actually an arrow right there, so be sure to not make the same mistake I did. Use the arrow and make sure you put it up the right way. Now I have the right way, we can get it adopted in the Unify Protect app, and you can see camera G6 Pro Turret, and we're gonna click add. Let that go off, let it do a firmware update, get everything done, and then we'll see a nice blue light, and then we can get it set in the right area. So there we go, this is the G6 Pro Turret, and we'll turn that to the side, move my head out the way. I think that is actually a pretty good setup right there. I think we're good. Maybe just point it down a little bit. There we go, yeah, I'm happy with that. So we can tighten the screw up on the side, make sure it doesn't move, make sure it doesn't get released. So there we go, that's tightened up. And now let's run through to some daytime testing. So let's take a look at some of the extra features in here and the specifications, because I didn't mention it all earlier. So we have two-way audio built into it because we have a speaker and a microphone. We have the 4K sensor, the zoom that I mentioned. The IR LEDs can work up to 40 meters away. That's 131 feet. And it has an integrated spotlight. Right here, we can see the SD card that I mentioned earlier, and it is IP66 weatherproof rated. So the cost of this is $479. Let's take a look at some of the settings within. So we have the basic information in terms of IP, bitrate, uptime, etc., when the triggers were. And if you've inserted an SD card, you obviously see this populated as well. There isn't anything out of the ordinary in terms of the settings, so I'll quickly brush over some of what there are. We have when to record, recording mode, the AI events. If you want motion events, there's tamper detection. This is something that if you tick and if it detects it's physically moved or obstructed, it will then list this in the timeline. You can use that for then triggering alarms through Alarm Manager if that's what you want to do. We have some standard video recording qualities, timeline overlay of the information, and recording retention. We have our zones and lines, so if you have motion zones or default zones, We're just going to leave it all standard as it is at the moment. And then finally, we have the settings. So we have the microphone, we have the HDR settings, we have the night vision settings switch, and then we have some more advanced settings and orientations. We also have the night color vision. So if you want the night color vision, we'll be testing that at night. So we'll do the night color vision, and we'll also do a normal nighttime IR test too. So we have everything highlighted on here that we want to be able to see. You can either tick show on hover, or you can leave it there all the time. It's entirely up to you. We're going to do the daytime test. Generally, what I do is I walk in and then I drive in, and because there's some zoom functionality on here, we'll test it at 50% and also at 100%. We'll also do an audio test as well. So let's see me walking in. So relatively clear, me walking in, and then this is me driving in. And generally what I do with these is I get to the edge of my driveway and we zoom in a little bit to see how much we can actually see of this. So there's the edge of my driveway, which is approximately about 20 meters down. And if I zoom in just here, you can see we're starting to make out a little bit of the number plate. So I can make out some characters there. Maybe because I know it, I can make it out, but I can make out a few characters there. So then again, if we continue with me driving back in, again, halfway down, you can see that's relatively clear right there. And then we're going to do a quick audio test. So you're going to hear me talking at a few different distances. This is an audio test standing 2 meters away. This is an audio test standing 5 meters away. This is an audio test standing 8 meters away. So then I zoom the camera in slightly, and you'll see me walking now to the edge of the drive. There I am. So this is at a 50% zoom. So if we walk in, and you can see that's a relatively clear image as I'm walking down the driveway, and it's picked up my face quite clearly. And now this is me driving in with the 50% zoom. So this is the edge of the drive. I think I don't even need to zoom into that. You can read that very clearly with the license plate right there. And we'll watch me just drive in like so. It's crucial to make sure you have your focus point in the correct area for where you want it to be the most readable. Because as you can see, as we get to the edge, it's still readable, but it's starting to get a little bit blurry. So your most clear view is going to be where your focus point is. And then we're going to move to the 100% zoom in. So you can see, you can no longer see my block paving. You can literally just see the driveway. So this is me. Again, very clear image. You can see it's picked up all the cars in the background. And it's picked up my face right there. So it's got a green box around me and it knows exactly who I am. There you go. And then we'll do the same with the car. So depending on what you want to pick up, again, I'm not even at the drive right there, and it's picked up quite clearly. You can see the cars right there. It's picked up the number plate. I don't need to stop at any point here just to see what the clarity is like. You can see it's relatively good in terms of its clarity. There you go, that's right at the edge. And if you were using this to obviously open up a garage door with a license plate trigger, you would have no problem with this right there. Definitely no issues in terms of the image in terms of daytime, but let's see how we get on at nighttime. We're now moving to the nighttime, and you can see on my screen at the moment, I have a nighttime image with my IR on, but we're going to kick off with the IR off. This has a very low light sensor built into it, so the 1/1.2 inch, which we saw in the Bullet version. So let's see how well this works in the Turret version. So you have to imagine that I'm in a quite a low light area. So we'll take a quick look at how little light there is in this area at the moment. So this is me at the back walking in. That's probably my phone that's flashing the IR at the moment, and you can see that. So this is me walking in. And you can see you can make out some sort of shadow. It knows it's a person, so 72%. And there we go. It's picked me up a little bit further. And there we go. You can see what I look like in a low light area. One thing I will add is I did turn off my IR sensors on a couple of cameras, but there's my doorbell that I had that I haven't turned off. So there's a bit of IR bleed going on there. So keep that one in mind. And this is me now driving back in. So we have our reverse lights on. So you can make out the area quite well. We can't make out too much of the car in terms of license plate wise. So if I was to zoom in a little bit here, Keep in mind there's pretty much no light in this area where I'm reversing into. There you go, as we come back here, you can start making out the license plate right there. And there we go. Now, generally, when people have this kind of setup, they're going to have some sort of lights in their driveway or in their porch area, whatever that might be. So I reran this test. Again, no IR lights on. And I reran this test with just my driveway lights on. So you can see this is what it looks like with the driveway lights on at the moment. So it's a bit more lit in terms of the area. And then we can have me walking in. So definitely you can pick up the character that's there, and you can see me walking in with the driveway lights coming in now, and you can see it's picked up my face, it's recognized who I am. There we go, and you can make out my face clearly there. And there you go, you can see me reversing. So if I pause just there, if we zoom in ever so slightly, you can start making out that license plate. Again, this is not tuned, this is just straight out of box. I've not played around with any of the settings of this camera to see how to get the most out of it, but we can see there it picks it up and it's recognized it in terms of no IR sensor. So the next part of the test is we're going to be doing a color night vision test and an IR test. So this is with the IR lights on, and you can see obviously the cars in the background then, that's zooming in. And if we pause as we get to the edge of the drive, it's picked up the plate, and there you go, the color night vision's kicked in, and we can pick up the color quite clearly. And there we go, so there's me at the back of my drive with the color night vision on, so it recognizes that I'm there. It picks me up, 86, 85, and as I get closer, obviously the image gets clearer and clearer with the colored night vision. Now we'll do the same with the IR, so we'll drive in and then we'll walk in. So again, me back of the drive, driving in. If we stop it right there, you can start picking up the letters of the license plate, and obviously as we get closer, it will definitely pick that up. And there we go, that's me walking in from the back of my drive now. And there we go, about halfway down the drive, it picks me up. And then this is me walking towards the camera, and then it picks up my face again. So no issues with the IR side of things. So I'm going to do one more at it zoomed in at 100%, so you can see exactly what it looks like towards the edge of the drive. So if you are looking for that distance, you can have a look at that. So this is zoomed in at 100%. You can see it's cut off the whole front of my driveway, and we're looking a little bit more further down the line now. So we can see it's picked up a couple of cars in the background. So it's telling me a little bit about those. And then you can see it's picked me up as a person as well. So this is with the IR night light on. There you go, it's picked up my face. And we're going to do a similar sort of test. There we go. You can pick up my number plate quite clearly at the edge of the drive. You might need to stop over a few frames, but you can definitely pick that up. And obviously as we get closer, that's definitely a lot more readable. And now we're going to do the same with the color night vision. So again, there we go. We've picked that up. We're reversing in. Yes, the license plate was over the way, but you can obviously turn that off to be able to read it if that's what you want to do. And again, color night vision is doing quite a good job in terms of picking it up all the way along. And then the last test of me walking in. So already at the edge of the drive, you can see it's picked me up, recognizes there's a character, a person there. So 88%. And here we are, we're coming along. And we can see as we get towards the start of the drive, it picks me up quite clearly. It recognizes who I am as a person. For those that want to see how much light it gives off, you can see the image being shown right here. That pretty much recaps the G6 Pro Turret, and we're going to bring back another video where we compare the G6 Pro Turret against the G6 Turret, so that's going to be a future video. If you want to know any more in terms of the comparison, let me know down in the comments, so when I put that video together, I know what to show you and where to show you it. For me, I think this is a great camera. It's going to be replacing the one on my driveway. It fits all my requirements. It has color night vision. It has an optical zoom should I need it, and also it has a very good low light sensor. And from what you've seen so far, I think it does a pretty good job in terms of picking up everything on my driveway. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments below if this is something that you would add into your setup or deployments. And there's a link down in the description below for that camera as well. For now, this is Inside Wire, and I'll see you in the next one.